Hello and welcome to another episode of No Enemy Podcast Live with your host Sly. And I'm still by myself. That's okay. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Get well, Will. We miss you, buddy. I need you here by my side, man. I need you to hit me with some good points and stuff, man. But yeah, today's title we have today is what does sports, war, and evil people do to the human soul? Okay. So let's get into that. So we're going to talk today about the World Cup, what's going on with the World Cup today, and the war still going. We'll talk about that. And evil people, we'll talk about the Epstein files. Let's get into that. So first thing, the World Cup just happened. Congratulations, Spain. You did it. You guys let in one goal the whole time. Good defense. Good defense. Argentina, yeah, they just look tired. Messi, you might have want to run. You should have ran in this one. I know you don't like to run. I know you don't run. That's the way you play. But this being the last game, they probably need you to on defense a little bit. And then you guys got knocked down to 10 men. Yeah, that was that sucked. That definitely sucked. But you guys tried. Congratulations, Spain again. Argentina, congratulations on making it. Messi, it was a pleasure and honor watching you play. Oh my goodness. You were amazing. I don't know. I guess Maradona was pretty bad in his time. Pele was pretty bad in his time, but I didn't get to see him. I got to see you. So I appreciate it. Thank you for everything you've brought to the sport. You made it huge in all of the world. Everybody loves you. You're such a good person. You seem like a good person. So thank you again. So, yeah, I want to talk about that. So how many? About 80,000 people filled that stadium today. Different languages, different skin colors, different religions, different politics. If you put them in a room to talk about Iran or immigration or race, they might not last 5 minutes. Things might get ugly, but so why does this happen? How does a sport do what politics cannot? So let's break it. Let's see what the science says it's because sports triggers the researchers call a neural synchrony, where the brains of the people watching the same event together literally start firing in similar patterns. The excitement, the tension, the collective breath when a shot goes wide. It is a shared biological experience that temporarily dissolves the walls between people. The same chemicals fire in your brain whether you are rich or poor, black or white, American or Argentinian or Mexican. Sports makes us biologically similar in a way almost nothing else does. And the spiritual side, let's take a glimpse, a preview, a small taste of what human beings are actually capable of when we stop organizing around fear and start organizing around joy. Every tradition talks about collective worship, people coming together around something bigger than themselves and being transformed by the shared experience. It was definitely an experience this year. 2026 World Cup was crazy watching all those people react. This is what happens in cities across America this summer when strangers had nothing in common, wore the same colors, and felt the same heartbreak and the same joy. Heartbreak today, Messi. Sorry, buddy. So, why can't we access that feeling outside of sports? Why does it take a soccer ball to make us feel like one human family? And what would it take to build communities that feel like that every single day without needing a tournament to make it happen? Yeah, why can't we access feeling outside of sports? Something about sports. I love sports. Sports is my thing. I would what you call an athlete. Where's Will to hit me back with an athlete? But yeah, sports does something. It's crazy. But so yeah, the World Cup's over. The flags come down. People go back to work, go back to their countries. Yeah. So what do we do with that? what do we do with what this summer has showed us? This people loving Bucky's, Europeans loving all kinds of stuff, because it bypassed the fear brain entirely and went straight to the part of us that wants to feel something real together. That's what we needed. And that's what happened. Everybody was just kumbaya, loving everything. You know what I'm saying? They're loving everything about America, about being nice to each other, talking to each other. So, so Europeans fell in love with Waffle House. Scots walked 3,000 miles in kilts for a charity. I didn't know they walked 3,000 miles. Holy cow. Mexicans and Americans stood side by side in stadiums. This is what's possible. The question is whether we choose it when there is no tournament forcing us to. So yeah, it was a great game. It was kind of slow. They were just trying to feel it, but Spain was attacking. They were doing their thing. They were too much for Argentina. So yeah, it was a good game. Yeah, I liked it. I watched it. I don't know, something about the sports. You saw all those people cheering and stuff. I saw all those sad faces, Argentinian. They look sad. Boy, they look sad. But yeah, we need to somehow keep that going. I don't know. I know they ain't going to bring the World Cup back again for another 4 years. There probably won't be another 10 years, probably. But Trump, if he's still alive, and he'll probably want that bitch back the next 4 years. Do it again. Run it back. Run it back. Let's do it again. But so yeah, it was a good game. I enjoyed it. So, but yeah, man, this summer proved something. The summer proved something big time, that we can get along. We can see in other people's eyes and see what they see. You know what I'm saying? Love what we love. We all can love the same thing. Yeah. So we got to work on that. Build a community, guys, together. So what else? Oh, the war. Yeah. So let's talk about the American-Iran war and the science and the biology behind that. So America's bombing Iran. Iran is bombing back. Iran's drones just hit Kuwait, an American ally. The Strait of Hormuz, the waterway of 20% of the world's oil moves through, is being fought over right now. And most of us just got done watching the World Cup around the whole world. So is this by accident or is this by design? Think about what your brain does when it's scared. It narrows its focus on what is immediate, on what's exciting, what is familiar. It avoids what is complex, distant, threatening. The media knows this. The government knows this. And whether by design, but the perfect distraction from the hardest conversation we need to be having as a country. Are we at war? Did anyone ask us? Did Congress vote? Did you get a letter? Did your kid get a call? No bombs just started falling. Strikes just got exchanged. And the news covered it between World Cup highlights. So the biology of this is, guys, the manufacturing consent. That's what they call it. You keep people entertained, keep people fed, keep people emotionally occupied with things that feel important. Yeah, they do that. And they will not notice the things that are actually important until it's too late to do anything about them. The Roman empires called it bread and circuses. Give the people food and entertainment, and they will not notice that you are taking everything else. So, yeah, keep you distracted. So, spiritual question, awareness. Every tradition calls people to wake up, not as a metaphor, as a literal instruction. Pay attention, be present, see what is actually happening around you. because the opposite of spiritual awareness is not evil, it is sleepwalking. And a country that sleepwalks into a war it never agreed to is a country that had lost something more important than a battle. So if Congress never declared this a war, who who's decided it? Who decided it? Just Trump? How many people? What does it mean when the people are the last to know? We don't. We hear everything at the end. We're gonna bomb these people. Then we bomb them, and then we're like, "Oh, damn, they bombed those people. That's crazy." And, and who decided it? That's what we need to question. Who decided it? Who decided it? Why do we keep doing this? Not we as an America, not we as Mexican, black, white, or Democrat, Republican. I mean, as a human being, all of us, every culture, every country, every century, we know a war doesn't work. We've done it 1,000 times and it never ends the way anyone planned. We know that leaders who promise to fix everything usually make it worse. We know that when people feel desperate, they make destructive choices. Yeah, destructive choices. We know these things. We have thousands of years proving it, showing us, and we keep doing them anyway. Keep doing them anyway. Why? Uh, until we understand the why, the deep biological, spiritual why, we're just watching the same movie with different actors and wondering why it always ends the same way. Yeah. Why it always happens the same way. Mm. So, America and Iran bombing each other. Yeah. I want to talk about addiction, not drugs, not alcohol. I want to talk about America's addiction to war. Because here's what addiction actually is from a biological standpoint. It is not weakness, it is not a character flaw. Addiction is what happens when a behavior, any behavior, gets locked into the brain's reward system as a solution to pain. The first time you do the thing, it works. The pain goes away. You feel powerful, in control, safe, and the brain flies that away as a successful strategy. And the next time the pain comes, you reach for the same strategy, even when it stops working, even when the consequences get worse, because the brain has learned that this is what you do when you feel threatened. And rewiring takes more than willpower, it takes a complete restructuring of how you process the threat in the first place. Yeah. Rewiring your brain, guys. America's been at war for constantly 25 years, not because war keeps working. It clearly does not. Not because the threats keep being real. Some were not. But because the brains of a nation, its institutions, its military industrial complex, its political class, its media, it has been wired to reach for military force as a first response to feeling threatened. It is the known quantity, the familiar path, the thing that has been done so many times that the muscles know how to do it without thinking. Muscle memory. And just like a person in addiction, the cause keeps going up while the relief keeps getting smaller. More bombs, bigger conflicts, wider targets. And the fundamental problem, the fear, the insecurity, the sense of the world is dangerous and must be controlled, never actually gets resolved. It just gets temporarily suppressed until the next crisis forces the same response again. Yeah. I mean, what are some examples? Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. Each time there was a goal, an achievable and necessary one. Each time the outcome was not what anyone planned. And each time, after the conflict ended or wound down, the institutional appetite for the next one never really went away. Eisenhower warned us about this. The military industrial complex in 1961. He was not talking about evil people. He was describing a system that had become addicted to its own necessity. A system whose survival depend on there always being a threat to respond to. A threat to respond to. So they act for war instead of talking it out. I'm sure they want to talk it out, but I'm sure they got better agendas and they just say they're going to talk it out and then they just bomb the shit out of them. So let's look at the spiritual angle of this. The prophet Isaiah said, they shall beat their swords into plowshares. They shall beat their swords into plowshares. Not as a wish, as a prophecy, a description of what becomes possible when human beings finally get tired enough of the cycle to choose something different. Every spiritual tradition that has a version of this moment, the recognition that the old strategy is not working and the willingness to try something that the fear brain says is dangerous, but the soul knows it's necessary. The question is whether the peace is possible. History shows moments of genuine peace between people who were supposed to be permanent enemies. The question is what it takes to get there, and the answer every tradition gives is the same. Someone has to go first. Someone has to be willing to absorb the vulnerability of stopping the cycle without knowing if the other side will follow. Stop the cycle. This is not weakness, and every tradition, without exception, is the bravest thing a human being can do. So ask yourself, is there something in your life you keep doing even though it stopped working a long time ago? Yeah. What's my addictions, I guess? Here's one of them. Yeah, but my excuse is he put this on earth for us. Hit me in the comments. Say what you think about that one. Yeah, it's crazy. So we got to change the pattern, guys. The biology of addiction is to familiar strategy does not only run nation, it runs people. And the first step of changing a national pattern is changing the personal one, the one inside you. You need to change. That's what they want you to say. That's what we need you to say. Change yourself. Be nice. That first thought is maybe anger, but you can change the second thought. You can definitely change the second thought. So what do we got? So evil people. That was war. Let's jump into evil people. Yeah. This DSA guys, they're still trying to go. They're still trying to push their agenda. It's just crazy. What's going on in Britain's crazy. What Keir Starmer or what's his name? Keir Starmer? Yeah, they just booted him out. And in America, we got all these DSA booting the old people that's been there for a long time out. Yeah. Let's see. Real talk. What do we need to understand about what's happening in the USA with America and Western democracy churning through leaders like they're changing their shirt? The problem is not the leaders, guys. The leaders are a symptom. Definitely a bigger problem. When human beings feel unsafe, they feel like their life is getting harder, their community is falling apart, their future is uncertain. Something very specific happens inside the brain. They look for a strong figure to make the fear stop. Scientists call this strongman bias. It is one of the oldest programs running in the human brain. When a tribe is in danger, find the strongest person and give them the power to protect you. So when regular people in the USA, In Britain, we're all struggling with rising costs, crumbling public services. Communities feel nothing like they did 20 years ago. Oh, no. No. It used to be a lot nicer 20 years ago. Well, that's probably when it started changing. Everybody started hating each other. That's when I can kind of see it. Maybe before that, but I need to think about that one. They go to ballot boxes. They are not really choosing a policy. They are choosing a feeling. They are choosing someone who makes the fear quiet down for a minute. And when that person cannot deliver, when the fear comes back, they replace them with someone else who promises to make it stop. So, who are we putting in line right now to make it stop? Mom Donnie, AOC, all the people who just took over the seats that are going to try to get voted in. Yeah. They're choosing a feeling, guys. So Britain, what, they had 7 prime ministers in 10 years. They can't figure it out. Look at them. People say it's nice, but I guess it probably depends on what part you're talking about. I've never been to England or Britain, so I can't tell you nothing. But that was a large march they had a little while ago. That fucking computer, that drone rose and kept rising and rising and just kept showing people marching, choosing they want to find something different. And who was the guy in front? What was his name? Damn, I forgot his damn name. The one always getting arrested. But he's still talking. So, yeah, they're failing to find the right person. It is an entire population running a biological fear response that no single politician can satisfy because the fear is real. The system that is supposed to make them feel safe has broken down. And no individual human being, no matter how talented or well-intentioned, can fix a broken system from the top while the people at the bottom keep getting squeezed. Past example, let's get an example. So the Weimar Republic in Germany, between the 2 world wars, went through so many leaders, so many governments, so much political chaos that the ordinary German people became desperate for anyone who could just make it stop. And that desperation opened a door for a man who promised strength and certainty when everyone else was offering confusion. The lesson of the Weimar is not that people are stupid. It is that when people are scared and exhausted enough, they will hand the power to whoever makes them feel manageable, regardless of what the person actually is. Rome did it too. The Roman Republic has centuries of democratic institutions. And then it went through the period of civil wars, political chaos, and ordinary Romans were so exhausted by the instability that they welcomed Julius Caesar and then Augustus as the end of the chaos. And then by doing so, they handed over the republic forever. They did not know what they were doing. They just wanted the fear to stop. They just wanted the fear to stop. I guess that's why we put Trump in there. Everybody wanted this stuff to stop. A lot more people in the Republican side wanted it to stop than the Democratic. So Trump won. So spiritual angle, let's look at that. Every spiritual tradition warns about this same trap in a different language. Buddhism talks about seeking external solutions to internal suffering. The idea that something outside you can fix what is broken inside you. Christianity warns about placing your trust in princes and rulers rather than in something that doesn't change with the next election cycle. Indigenous traditions talk about a community relationship with its own value and its own land. The understanding that when a people lose their connection to those roots, no leader can restore it. Let's think about that. Yeah, if you guys don't fight for your values, America, we have a value system. We like to be free. We like the the easy things that happen for us in the United States and make it easy for us. And that took a lot of fighting, a lot of things had to happen. And it was change the next cycle. The understanding that when people lose their connection to those roots, no leader can restore it. What most of the Western world is experiencing is not a leadership crisis, it's a meaning crisis. People have lost the story of what they are part of, what their community stands for, what they owe each other. And when people lose that story, they look for a leader to give them a new one. And it never works. Because a leader cannot give you, only a community can build together. So think about the last time you believed a leader was going to change your life. What really believed it? What happened? Yeah, I guess we're in it right now. We're definitely in it right now. We got this guy seeing that he can change things. I don't know. Are you feeling different? I don't know. Is your pocket feeling different? I don't know. But he only got us until November, and then it should all change again. And then we don't know what's going to happen after that. Hopefully not what I was talking about last week. Watch the episode last week. You'll hear. Yeah. That's crazy. So hopefully, guys, you guys don't. The DSA is scary, man. They're just going to push us into a darker place. We just need to focus on us, get us right, get America right, get our values back in order, our traditions, our beliefs, because there's all different kinds of people here, guys. All different kinds. Oh, and I wanted to bring up last week, remember I mentioned Epstein, right? So something just happened, I guess, in Britain. A prime minister just resigned partly because of a connection to Jeffrey Epstein. His government was rocked by scandal after it emerged that a senior diplomat had maintained links to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein after Epstein's 2008 conviction. His communications chief resigned. His chief of staff resigned. And the Epstein connection was one of the accelerants that burned his government down. Oof. And in America, the DOJ is sitting on more than 5 million Epstein documents that are still not fully public. 5 million documents. And we only have seen a few hundred of them, haven't we? Just a few hundred of them. That is crazy. I want to know the person. Who's the person who's like, can we let it out? Huh? Can we let it out? No. Don't let it out. Who's that guy? That's what I want to know. Who's that guy saying no? No. Or is it multiple people saying no? Because you couldn't do that. You have multiple people saying let it out, and you think they all could agree on the same thing? I guess if they're all in the files, yeah, I guess they would agree on the same thing. But then you got that one person that's not in the files. He's like, no, he disagrees, and then they're like, oh, fuck, we got one. Yeah, everybody's dancing around. I'm just gonna say it, I guess. Jeffrey Epstein ran a network that trafficked children to powerful people. That's what he was convicted for. It's not a conspiracy theory, guys. It's not a conspiracy theory. That's what Ghislaine Maxwell was fucking convicted of. 2 people convicted of the same shit. And those 2 people knew a lot of fucking people, man. They knew a lot of powerful people. And powerful is just not in like the news or you'll never know this guy was powerful. This bitch is wearing a fucking what kind of shirt? A fucking Fruit of the Loom shirt and fucking some blue jeans, Levi's, and fucking billionaire, and you wouldn't even know. That's what they were convicted of. Fucking trafficked children. to powerful fucking people. The question has never been fully answered. That 5 million documents might answer. Who are those power? Who those in power were, and why the system that is supposed to hold powerful people accountable has moved so slowly to tell us? That's the question. Why does it connect to everything that we've been talking about tonight? Why does this connect? So we talked about the World Cup, how it brought everybody together. Talked about U.S. Iran. We're addicted to war. Talked about the DSA, how they're leading us they're trying to lead people in a way that they think it's good. But they know they're evil. They're either stupid or they're fucking diabolical. They know what happens when you do this stuff, but they still do it anyways. They still do it anyways. The same biological dynamic that makes ordinary people desperate for a strong leader to make their fear stop also makes powerful people believe that their position puts them above the rules that everyone else lives by. This is research on this. Actual neuroscience. The experience of sustained, unchecked power changes the brain. It reduces empathy. It increases risk tolerance. It creates a disconnect between the person's knows and the wrong and what they feel they can do without consequence. Slow down, I'm getting a little. Another break. The technical term is acquired sociopath. This does not require someone to be born evil. It requires someone to be born powerful long enough without accountability. And accountability, there's that word. America, we got to start taking accountability to these people. Start calling them out. Start saying, no, it's not right. Epstein did not happen in a vacuum. It happened inside a system where certain people had accumulated enough power, enough money, and enough connections. Excuse me. That the normal rules generally did not apply to them. That's what they thought. Oh, man, how's it going? And the reason 5 million documents are still sitting in the federal archive, what the hell, is because the normal rules, excuse me, damn, rules are being applied to the truth the same way that they're applied to the abuse, slowly, selectively, and without an eye on protecting the people who cannot afford to be named. Oof. Yeah, they're trying to fucking hide that shit. How many people is that taking to hide all that shit? Is it a certain few? Is a whole fucking their own little community? Oh boy. The history is full of these patterns. The Catholic Church abuse scandal was not one priest. It was a system that protected itself so effectively for so long that the abuse became institutionalized. The Penn State scandal, the gymnastics scandal with Larry Nassar, oof, that was going on for a long time. And in every single case, the abuse was not a secret to everyone. People knew, people looked away, people made calculations about what they could afford to report and what they could not, because the power of the institutional felt more real and more dangerous than the suffering of the victims. Oof, yeah, the biology of that, they got a word for that. It's called the bystander effect. And it does not apply to the crowds watching someone get hurt on the street. It applies to institutions. When everyone assumes someone else will be the one to speak up, and everyone is calculating the personal cost of being that person, the silence becomes collective without anyone explicitly choosing it. Oof, bystander effect. You just watch it happen. I don't know. Are you one of those people that you see an accident, you're ready to jump out and save the day? Are you the one driving by, looking at it, wishing you were the one saving the day? Are you the one driving by and not really caring? No empathy. Oof, I hope you're not that one. We don't need those kind. So let's look at the spiritual angle of it. There's a concept in almost every spiritual tradition that translate roughly as nothing hidden will stay hidden. Christianity says it directly. There is nothing concealed that will be there is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed or hidden that will not be made known. Islam has a near identical teaching. Buddhism talks about karma, not as a punishment from outside, but as the natural consequences of actions, reverberating through the system until they surface. What all of these traditions are describing is not supernatural. They are describing a property of truth that operates like a physical law. Pressure builds, system cracks, what was buried finds its way up. 5 million Epstein documents exist. 5 million, guys. And we only got a couple hundred of them. You believe that shit? They won't stay buried forever. And when they surface, and they will, the question, your audience, we need to ask is to be prepared for is not just who was named. It is what to do with the information about the system that allowed it. Because the names matter less than the structure. You can remove individuals and leave the structure intact. And the structure will produce new individuals who do the same thing. Real change requires looking at the system, the unchecked power, the bought silence, the institutions that protect themselves instead of people they serve, and deciding that this is what has to change. Knox, you okay, buddy? You okay? Let's bring him in. Come here. Jump. There he is. Say hi. Yep. Here's old Knox Security. He's over there. You okay, buddy? What are you doing? He gets all nervous now when I'm on the camera for some reason. All day he's fine. And then I start talking and he's like, he just starts wandering, walking around, nervous. It's okay. It's okay. So, you're okay, buddy. It won't stay buried, guys. Them files will be released. We need that hacker. Go get him. You know you can do it. You just need to just send it out. Put it on that thing. Put it on this thing. Live stream it. Whatever you have to do. Get it out. Those people need justice. And we need to stop them powerful people. Stop them. Let's see. Is there something you know in your family, your community, your workplace, your church that everyone knows but nobody says it out loud? And what is the cost of that silence? Not to the powerful person it protects, to the people it leaves unprotected. So if you know something, say something. They say don't be a rat, but I'm starting to see that's bullshit. All the motherfuckers rat. Everybody talk. They got life on the line. They'll talk. So yeah. So what we talk about tonight? Talk about Britain, USA, DSA, Keir Steimer. They're going through a bunch of fucking prime ministers. They're burning through leaders because people are looking for a safety in place it's never lived. We've talked about America's addiction to war, the biological loop of reaching for a familiar strategy even when it stopped producing the results it once did. We talked about Epstein with the 5 million documents, the way systems protect themselves, and the way silence becomes its own kind of violence. Silence becomes its own violence. Speak up. Speak up. And here's the thing I want you guys to sit with a little bit. All three of these stories are about the same human need: the need to feel safe, the need to feel like someone is telling you the truth, the need to feel like the world is being run by people who actually care whether you live or die. All of these stories show you what happens when that needs is not met. People hand power to whoever promises to make the fear stop. Nations reach for weapons because at least weapons feel like control. And the most vulnerable people, the ones with the least power and the most to lose, get left unprotected while the system calculates what it can afford to do for them. Like I said, guys, we're souls having a biological experience. And that biology, the fear brain, the dopamine system, the tribal instinct, the addiction to familiar pain over unfamiliar healing runs most of the world most of the time. Not because people are evil, but because people are human. Because the gap between what we are capable of our highest and what we default to when we are scared is the entire story of the human system, the human history. That's what No Enemy Live is about, guys. Let's close that gap. Yeah. One conversation at a time. I'm just letting you guys know what's out there, trying to get the conversation out. One episode at a time, one community member at a time. Try to understand before they react. Before you react, try to understand before you react. To see before they judge. To ask why before they condemn. This is the hardest thing a human being can do. Definitely. Definitely the hardest thing. So let me bring it all. Let me bring it home tonight. We're getting almost to that time. I'm by myself, so I'm just getting you what I can give you. And Will, I need you by my side, man. I need you to be hitting me back with these bam bams, that knowledge you got, and that love you got. Everybody needs to hear it. Something that happened this week that I think got lost. The World Cup finally happened. Spain versus Argentina. Congratulations, Spain. Congratulations, Messi, Argentina. You made a lot of people smile. You gave a lot of people hope. You gave a lot of people love. And that's what we need in this world. 39 years old. You old motherfucker. You still were running out there with them jits, though. You're still putting them on their asses. Still doing it. Hopefully we'll see you next World Cup. Everything on the line for that boy. He put it. You should have ran a little more. That's all I asked. And it was on American soil, the World Cup. That was huge. For about 2 hours, something remarkable happened. Nobody's talking enough about. People stopped and watched. They stopped being Democrats and Republicans. They stopped being black and white and Mexican or whatever nationality you are. They stopped being immigrants and citizens. They stopped being enemies. 50,000, 80,000 people packed into the stadium from every country on earth. People who in other contexts might not even make eye contact. They all screamed together. They cried together. They held strangers. They jumped on strangers. They threw beers on strangers. They shared something so real and so human that for 2 hours, the walls we spend our whole lives building just came down. Everybody. And when the game ended and the walls went back up, the game ended and the walls went back up. And America and Iran were still bombing each other. The Epstein documents were still buried. And Britain was still in 7th prime minister in 10 years. And the DSA is trying to do what they're trying to do. And all the fear came rushing back in like water through a broken dam. But hold on to this. Hold on to this in your heart. Those 2 hours were real. That feeling was real. The fact that it went away doesn't mean it wasn't true. It means we haven't figured out yet how to make it last. And that, make it last, is the entire mission of this show. So when I said turn swords into plowshares, that's make it difference. Turn the metal into food, make it difference, make it change it. In Romans 8:19, I have a scripture for you guys. Yeah, I know what I said about the Bible, but we'll talk about that later, I guess. Ask in the comments, let me know. For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. The whole creation. Let's read that again. Romans 8:19. For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. So, okay. The whole creation, the earth, the people, every nation that sent fans to the World Cup, every family praying for peace in the Middle East, every child who doesn't know yet what country they were born into or what side they're supposed to be on, all of it, waiting for the people who actually understand that human beings are capable of to stand up and show the rest of us what it looks like. That's you guys. That's this community I'm trying to build. That's what no enemy is about. That's what we're building toward. We are all souls having a biological experience. And yeah, the biology is loud right now. The fear is loud. The war is loud. The corruption is loud. But underneath all of that noise, underneath every single story we talk about tonight, there's something waiting to be revealed. Something that a stadium full of strangers touched for 2 hours on Sunday in New Jersey, New York. We just have to figure out how to live there permanently. Yeah, Will, get back, bro. We need you back, bro. So I just wanted to talk. That was what I wanted to get out tonight, share with you guys. We got to change the brain, man. We're biological systems. We can change it. It's up to you. It's up to you to change it. So, yeah. The human feeling. We had verses in here, Bible verses. Yeah, we're going to try to do it all, guys. One group, one country, everybody. That's no enemy. That's no enemy. All right, guys. I'm going to call it for tonight. That's all I got for tonight. I just want to say, Will, we miss you, bro. Get back soon. And everybody out there, you guys have a good night. Love, heal, change that system. Have a good night, guys.